So I'm not sure if you heard it, but I heard a great theme of love going on this morning. Well, God is love, and God is law, and thank you, Roger, for doing the law part, because that's coming up too. But we're going to get there. We're going to get to that place. And my theme and title this morning is, If You Want to Walk on Water. So we're going to do that this morning. Not physically. We're going to do the metaphoric walking on water. Now, we could walk on water. We could do that if we believed enough. Because walking on water, miracles, require, number one, faith. And if you look at what's faith, faith is a conviction, a deep belief in something. Faith is when you know something is true, not just in your mind, but in your heart. You know it's true. Now, we all have faith. It's just some of us have displaced faith. Our faith, we'd love to have our faith in love and possibility and the goodness of all beings. But some of us have our faith not in love, but in fear. We know that we live in an abundant universe. Yet some of us don't have our faith in abundance, we have it in lack. And we live in a world where we're all connected. We all belong to each other. We felt that this morning in music, in spoken word, in reading. We could feel that we all belong together. But some of us, dang it, have our faith in separation and not in unity. And so, we can only go as far as our spiritual knowledge will take us. And that's exactly what Reverend Roger was talking about this morning. We can't go any farther than what we believe to be true. But the beautiful thing is we can expand our faith. Now, miracles follow faith. When you have enough faith, miracles happen. Now, what would we call a miracle as a human being? Well, we'd probably call it divine intervention, right? Divine intervention. Oh my gosh, something that defies the laws, the natural laws or the laws of science. And we say it's a miracle. That divine intervention, that God touched our life, that the miracle presence was there. But when Jesus walked on water, when he healed the sick, and all the miracles he did, he didn't say it was divine intervention. He said it was divine cooperation. When we work with the presence that's already there to create the miracles in our life, when we expand our beliefs and open to a greater realization. The law gives back to us exactly what we put into it. But as Reverend Roger said, this law is eternal, it's infinite. It grows as we grow in our understanding of it. Not that it changes, but our understanding of what this beautiful law can do. So when I talk about water, walking on water this morning, we're going to take the symbology of water. We don't have to actually practice walking on water this morning. But we're going to practice walking on the symbology of water. Now, if you look at the symbology of water, let me look, I have a couple of notes here. The symbology of water. In the Bible, the water both comes across as troublesome and eternal life. In Psalms it says, "Do not let the flood sweep over me, or the deep waters swallow me up." What do you feel there? But then it goes on to say in Revelations, it says, "The great angel showed me the water of eternal life." Water of eternal life, bright as crystal, flowing from the throne of God. So you have both things, which we know in this physical existence, we have troublesome times with water, and we have beautiful times. And we'll talk more about that in a minute. The Native Americans looked at water as fertility, as purity, as life itself. Scientists look at water as the universal solvent. Do you know more substances dissolve in water than any other chemical? Isn't that cool? We're going to talk about another universal solvent this morning. But water, the symbology of water in dreams is our emotional energy, and that's what we're going to talk about this morning. Because I want us to know how to walk on the water of this emotional chaos and confusion that's felt in the world today, where we just have to balance ourselves, not to get pulled into the anger and the hatred and the confusion and the self-righteousness and all that's going on, and people wanting to be right instead of coming together in unity. We want to be the ones to lead the way. So if we look at water as emotional energy, we have to look at emotions and what are they? Because, without emotion, I want you to think of a world without water. It would be dry. It would be hard. It would be barren. The same as a person that's not able to grasp onto their emotions. That's the life-giving power, what gives our words and our actions the energy and the passion. But then we have to think, we also know, what about a world where there was too much water, too much emotion? What happens then? We drown, we're out of control, there's way too much drama. But we want to get a control on that. We want to have the power that our emotions, which are that feeling nature of life, don't run us. But we use our emotions. We use our emotions to guide our life towards love, towards unity, that we can be inspired and empowered by goodness. So we want to use our emotions and not have our emotions use us. Do you get what I mean? How many of us, as Aristotle that said, pleasure and pain are the fundamental drivers of life. But my question is, are we letting pain and pleasure drive us, or are we using them to move closer to what we know because we're here together towards unity and goodness and love? We can use pleasure. Oh my gosh, did you feel the pleasure that happened this morning? From the unity and the goodness and the song that breaks us open. Those kind of things, that kind of pleasure that gives us the God bumps. How many of you had the God bumps this morning? I think we all did, because you get broken open when you hear the music, the beauty, you hear the words that are loving and kind when we join together. So pleasure can break us open, but also if it's leading us, it can drive us into overconsumption, materialism. It can drive us into never, never, ever, ever, ever getting enough. Have you been there? Me too. Pain is not something we look forward to, but it's something that's part of this life. And I guarantee you, if I talk to each one of you, that you'd let me know the times that were the most painful in your life were the opportunities for the greatest learning. Would I be right? I know that's true in my life. The times that break us open is when the light comes through. The darkest times we're broken open and that light comes through. And we have the opportunity right then to choose what we're going to do. Are we going to choose to see a new way where we need to change? Are we going to ask the questions, why is this happening to me? What's in this for me? We're going to use our pain to grow and learn. Negative emotions, how many of you like negative emotions? Anger, fear, hatred, blame, disgust. How many of you love those? Well, they're here for a reason. Remember, we say it's all God. It's all good. It doesn't feel good necessarily, but it's all part of this life experience. Part of our evolutionary process is about the emotions we hold, the negative and the positive. The negative, fear, is about protecting us, keeping us alive. Anger gives us the power to defend ourselves. Jealousy lets us know what we really want. It helps guide us if we use these in the right and correct way. The same with the positive emotions. The positive emotions, curiosity, keeps us learning and growing. Love keeps us joined and bound together. They're here for us if we use them and don't let them use us. But in order to do that, if we want to walk on water, which is, I look at this water as this whole stuff of life, all of the race consciousness, all of the learning, the good, the bad, the ugly, the joyful, the beautiful, all of it. And if we want to rise above it, to use what we select, if you want to walk on water, we've got to get out of the boat. The boat is our little container. The box we put around ourselves. It keeps us safe, protected, sometimes isolated, sometimes most of the time limited, that doesn't expand that spiritual knowledge that keeps us awake and allows newness and more amazing possibilities to come into our life. We've got to get out of that boat. We have to take the action so that we can be the ones that are in charge. You see, if we're really going to get the most out of life, we need inspired emotions, which means we let our mind and our heart work together for good. We've got to plug them into each other. It's been said, and you've heard it many times, that the greatest distance in the world is from our head to our heart. But if we keep the intention that it's, God's spirit life communicates with us through our heart. In the language of love, it's always affirmative. Now, it may not seem real loving when we hurt, when things are painful, but it's always guiding us to something more. I want to read, all the mystics knew this. All the mystics knew that to walk on water simply meant to keep yourself on the positive side of life, on the spiritual side of life, to have the faith in something we cannot see. This is a love poem by my favorite little Rumi poet, the 13th century mystic, and it's called The Alchemy of Love. And he says, "You come to us from another world, from beyond the stars and the void of space, transcendent, pure, of unimaginable beauty, bringing with you the essence of love. You transform all who are touched by you. Mundane concerns, troubles, sorrows dissolve in your presence, bringing joy to the ruler and the ruled, to the peasant and the king. You bewilder us with your grace. All evils transform into goodness. All evils transform into goodness. You are the master alchemist. You light the fire of love in earth and sky, in heart and soul, and every living being. Through your loving existence and non-existence merge. All opposites unite. All that is profane becomes sacred again." I love Rumi. So today, the thing I'd like us to leave with, our call to action, is to let our universal solvent, which in this physical world is water, but if we take that spiritual knowledge, if we let our universal solvent be love, if we let that be the guiding force in our life, when we remember that everything is made out of God, which is love, out of spirit, which is love, we all have that at the essence of our being. Matthew Fox said, "There is no problem so difficult or complex that enough love won't dissolve." So my challenge to you today and to me is to look at anything that's difficult in our lives. And I don't know what story or what experience each of you walked in with today. I don't know if it's a challenge with health, finances, people, career. I don't know what you came in with, but I just challenge us to look at any difficult situation, any difficult person, any flawed character as spirit in action. The Hindus say namaste. The Buddhists say namaste, which means the spirit in me acknowledges and honors the spirit in you. So if we can just keep that word in our mind, because every single thing here that we're experiencing is made of the same spiritual stuff we are, the infinite possibility of goodness. Same stuff. We've got it here, and we have the opportunity to allow that to be our truth. Are you with me on that? Namaste. Just say it out loud. Namaste. Oh, and we know what it means. It means the God in me sees the God in you. Whatever you want to say it, but it's just uniting spiritually, rising above, walking on water, and knowing that we are here. Once we have empowered ourselves with a power that's ever present, because we know what we say almost every Sunday, there's a power for good greater than we are. We can use it. It's part of all of us. It's there for us. We simply need to expand into it. So just close your eyes for a moment right now. I'm just going to invite you, as I say so many times, not only to open yourself to be a vehicle to let the emotions, the love, the light, the goodness to flow in through and as you right now, but to let your mind rest on your heart. Because the emotion of love and light and goodness is greater and deeper than the intellect. It needs the intellect and the heart to unite and combine. And when we melt into that right now, we can feel in that place of recognition and knowingness that we are one with all of life. And that we have been called here now on this journey of ever-expanding good, ever-expanding faith, ever-expanding love, to be the ones to lighten this world with our love, our knowledge, our embrace, our knowing that the Namaste energy resides in each and every one of us. If we choose to see beyond the physical, beyond the experience, the light of love unites each and every one of us. Oh, how good it is to be together. How good it is to know that universal truth that love heals all things. That each one of us is made of love, made of life, that we can walk on the water of enlightenment. Illumination isn't said. Illumination is felt. So when we infuse our knowing, our feeling, our truth with feeling and acceptance, we are expanded into a new existence and a new awareness. How good it is. Let that love just fill this room. Let us all be uplifted as we light this world with a greater truth, a greater understanding, that we are in this together. We share our light, we share our love. We say thank you, God, and let's seal that by saying, and so it is. We are the ones we've been waiting for. How good it is. I thank you all. I bless you all. And so it is.